Morning everyone. Today I'm doing a brew day. I'm going to be doing a double IPA with some Mosaic hops. So I'll get this video running and I'll start with doing some grain and we'll get it all ready and I'll show you what's going on. Cheers. So I've just got my little grain mill set up here. So it's not like I probably need a better one, but this one's actually made for flour making and grinding, corn and milling that up. But for what I use it for, just for cracking, small amounts of grain, I'd normally buy the grain pre-cracked. But for what it is, this one's all right. So just to show you how it works. It does crack all right. It does crack a bit fine, but normally it produces a perfect beer. So to stop the grain sort of spraying everywhere, I've got this old XPA carton that I've got. So I normally just shove that over the top like so, hook it on, and that just sort of stops all the grain spraying everywhere. So that when I buzz it, it catches it. Does a pretty good job. Just level it out a bit more. Alright. So that was a kilo in that. And there you go there. So give a close up of that. You can see there it's sort of like it is a little bit fine. I probably need to just adjust that a little bit, but it does crack it pretty good. So I am on my Christmas wish list. I'm wanting a malt muncher, so I'm definitely going to get my hands on that. But that's fine for what I'm using it for. So I'm happy with that. Chuck it in the bucket. And I'll get some more happening. You do get a little bit of grain sort of getting all over the place. That still sprays out. But for I think I paid like $20 for this. So just getting into all grain and starting off, this is perfect for someone who's just beginning. So I definitely recommend it, just giving it a go as a start off. It did come with a handle to begin with, and I did have to alter this. So the handle attached to this part, I then added in a different type of bolt, and I actually trimmed the head on the bolt so that I could then attach the drill. So definitely screw it down as well. The clamp probably wasn't the strongest, but again, for someone who's just starting all grain and wants to mess around and save a bit of money on buying a full bag of grain, definitely do it. So we'll have a look at the grains we're doing here today. So today I have got 82% of the grain bill is Maris Otter. I've got 5.4% Munich. I've got 3.7% honey malt, 0.7% Carafa, which is just a little bit of a dark grain, just for something different. And then I've got some oats. I've just got those sitting inside, 3.7% of those, just for a bit of something as well. So we've got a massive grain bill. I think it's totaling up to be about 6.5 kilos, if I'm right. But yeah, there's a fair bit going into this one. So I'm hoping to try and get that nice high ABV. I'm aiming for around about 8%. So we'll see how it goes, sort of all the way through this through this brew and what it turns out to be. All right, close to that mash-in temp now. So I actually set this up last night to get a countdown timer. So it's actually on step 2. So I had it on step 1 What I did was I just set the hours until I wanted it to boil, to get to this temperature. So I put for 9 hours while I was in bed on 0 degrees, and then once it hit the end of that 9 hours, then this timer kicked in for 72 degrees, and so it's probably taken 41 minutes to reach temp. So there you go, so it's ready to go. It's all stopped, so let's mash in. Alright, so we're ready to mash in. First of all, I'm just going to put a bit of this stuff in. A small amount, a 1/4 teaspoon. Just a tiny bit. Potassium metabosulfite. Right, then I've got all my grains. So this time round, I've actually I filled the vessel up to the total height of water, including sparge, and then I've heated it up and then taken it out. So I've drained it out the bottom and put the sparge water in a separate pot. So I don't know why I haven't done that before, but in the past I've always just heated my sparge water up separately. So I think I've just found another little trick, so that'll be good. Make sure it's all mixing in good. Struggling to mash in. I might actually get the pump arm running just to get a bit more moisture on top. It's actually quite nice and thick. Get that just sitting here. Pump on. There we go. That might help it. Alright, you can see how thick that actually is. It's quite a thick mash. This is my first double IPA too, so if anyone's got any tips for me to try and do it better, if I don't know if I need to do this twice, maybe that might sort of stop it being so thick, but I managed to get it all in, so I'm happy with that. All right, well now we'll get the pump arm running. We'll let it mash out, and then we'll come back and we'll sparge, we'll drain, we'll get the boil cranking. Just wanted to quickly show the colour. So it does look nice and like ambery, pale amber sort of colour. So it is looking nice and dark. It's judging by this though, it's probably going to get darker as I brew it. So I might have gone a bit too heavy on the more caramel sort of darker grains, but we'll see how it turns out. But the colour's looking good. I like it. Time to drain it. So anyway, there we go. Almost missed it there. Right, so there's definitely a lot of water stuck in this in the mash up the top here. You see it's a bit lighter now. So this will take a bit of time, so I'm just going to let this go, and we'll come back afterwards once it's ready for boil. The colour's actually looking pretty good now that it's sparged and had some water through it. I've actually maintained the level that I was aiming for, so I was aiming for around 25 litres pre-boil, so that should give me 21 or 22 litres once I chuck it into the fermenter, which is a good number. So I've only got 19 litre kegs, so obviously that's what I just want it to be a little bit more than that. So, all right, so I've got the hop spider, chucking that in. And my first boil addition is 50 grams of Mosaic. And I love the smell of these bad boys, so I'm trying to go for a single hop Mosaic double. So I've got probably another 250 grams left in the fridge. I don't know if I'll use all of it. I think I've got, how much have I gone for? I'll put this amount in, and then I've got a bit more to chuck in on the whirlpool. So I'll double check my numbers and suss that out, and we'll put those in as well. And then I'm just going to do dry hop additions after that. So this is really just the only bittering amount that I'm putting in. All right, let's let that boil. We've come down to a good whirlpool tank. So I don't know if you can see that, but the beer, it's come up quite dark. So it is a bit darker than expected, but look, it'll be good. I'm hoping that as long as the aroma comes through and the flavour's there, so it'll be nice. Got another 40 grams of Mosaic to chuck in there, so sprinkle those in. Just get the pump working a bit, just to make sure it's you can see that. Just get that recirculating on that. As I've said in previous videos, I don't do a proper whirlpool. I just do like a bit of a pump. I just chuck it into the hop spider and just let the hop spider sort of distribute it a bit. So it should steep the hops nicely, and then once that's done, we'll let it cool. We'll get it into the fermenter, and that's about it. I'll probably come back after and pitch the yeast, which I've done a starter for that as well. I've actually got that sitting in the fridge in here. So it's a dry English ale yeast. So I've done another video for that as well. So I'll add the link to that, and you guys can check that out afterwards. All right, so I've finished the whirlpool now. I'm still just trying to let it cool down, but that's the colour. The colour's actually turned out pretty good. It's probably a little bit darker than expected, but you can definitely see that that's a nice thick and heavy wort. So what have I got the temp at now? So it's sitting at 72 now. So it's starting to get cooler. So I'll chuck it into the conical, and then I'll hook up the pump arms and whatnot, and get some cold water running through it as well, and then I'll chuck it into the fridge, which I've got over here. So it's time to drain. All right, we're all into the fermenter now. It's all got the little pump hooked up now, got the water, and it's currently sitting at 66.2. So I'll take most of the temp out of that, and then once that sort of cools down a little bit more, I'll chuck it inside there. So yeah, it's looking good. All right, so gravity is, can't see it there, but it's about 106.6. So probably not as high as I thought it might be. The colour's definitely darker, so maybe I need to fine tune the colour a bit. Maybe add some more dextrose or something just to creep that starting gravity up. But look, that's going to be a bloody belter of a beer, so I should probably end up with about, I don't know, 6.5 to about 7.5%. So I don't know, we'll see how we go. Cheers. Okay, so the yeast is finished. I've got the fermenter out and ready. Just gonna sanitize that a little bit. I'm actually going to just tip a bit of the beer off, just to lose some of that liquid, because I've actually got all the yeast sitting in there in the bottom, so it's looking nice and good. Alright, so I'll just leave the rest of that in there. Stir it all up. What we got there? Just about a litre. So it's tipped a lot of that beer off. Here we go. Without getting the stir bar in. Still got it. Alright, cool. Well, that's all good to go now. So it's actually took a little bit longer to get that going because I wasn't, I had to go to work yesterday or today, and the thing wasn't ready, so the yeast starter hadn't finished and the beer hadn't cooled down yet, so now she's ready to go. So really appreciate everyone tuning in and watching this one. Or as always, I'll do a review of the beer afterwards once it's finished brewing, and once I've had it sitting in the kegs for a little while, and we'll give it a taste test and I'll let you know how it goes. Thanks for watching, guys. Cheers.